You're watching Lansdowne Raw, the voice of the fans. I'm Martin Prendergast, joined by Connor McAvoy as we catch up on the latest news in Irish football, where we saw Azaz shine against Fulham. Ireland's midfield woes continue, and we catch up with Obig on how the lads gone over the weekend. And at the moment, we're actually distracted. I'm going to be very, very honest, because we're watching the penalty shootout in the FA Cup of West Ham United versus Brentford with our very own Caoimhín Kelleher in action. But I'm going to stop this atrocious music and we're going to get right into the show. Connor, how are you doing? Welcome, everybody, to another Lansdowne Raw Live with our fantastic partner, Travel Igo. We'll come on and talk about them a little bit more. But yeah, we have got one eye off the board at the moment. Other podcasts do exist. And we're, just...
Did you see that Otara Diango penalty there? Chip it down the middle and missed. Kelleher's going to have to try and pull out the bag here over the next whatever penalties it is.
So yeah,
I know you're a couple of seconds behind me, but West Ham have had 3 penalties and they've been 3 different class penalties. Yeah. And actually, I know we're talking crap once we properly start, but Thomas Souček went up for a header with Nathan Collins in the middle of extra time and decided instead of going for the ball, took him out to the side. Collins went down holding his back and was like, oh no way, he's done something to his back. If he slipped a disc or something mad. But thankfully he was up soon enough. But I was thinking that cheeky git. He knows what's in the 26th of March. Exactly, I posted about it and someone said, well, we can't go because I said on 26th we go to war. Probably not a good time to say that phrase, by the way.
Jesus.
Not a good time to say it, but you know what I mean? Like, but someone was giving out saying, well, we not really because we have an important game 4 days later if we win, but you can't treat it like that. You have to treat it like it's the biggest game ever. And I was saying to lads earlier, it feels like It feels like if we just win on the 26th, we're just qualified. Like, doesn't it? It feels like we're done. Be interesting now if Collins is one of these 5 penalty takers.
Yeah, I mean, it's really, really funny, isn't it? This lead up to obviously the Ireland versus Czechia taking place in Prague on the 26th of March. Make sure you have subscribed to the channel here because we are the home of Irish football as far as we're concerned. We are by the fans, for the fans, and you're going to get amazing build up to a really, really important time in Irish football. It's a feel-good factor around the whole thing. So we want to be part of that, and that's what we're going to be doing in our coverage in the lead up to the game. But yeah, you know what I'm amazed about, Connor? I've chatted to a lot of people, and obviously I'm based in London, and I was chatting to people, and every now and again I'll have an Ireland jacket on or an Ireland top on or something, and someone will go, "Oh, you support Ireland?" Yeah, you get chatting to them, and the amount of people who don't know anything about that, the World Cup qualification, playoffs and how it works. Maybe obviously England fans are, probably just gloating already. They're there. They don't probably take any much notice of these qualification campaigns, to be honest. But it's amazing, really. Like, just kind of what, and then that happens, and what, you're not even through after winning that one game. So it's just incredible. And as I said, it's a really exciting time for Irish football. We're trying to follow it now. I've just seen the penalty there, Connor. While we're here, Souček just scored, didn't he, past Kelleher, and they're in a 4-2 lead.
He can score now. He can score now, but he can wait till the 26th of March.
Exactly. But Keith Andrews looking on. Obviously, Brentford need this one to just stay in it. I think Kelleher is going to, it's in West Ham's hands here. Obviously, Brentford have to score this one as I'm watching along, and then hope Kelleher is going to be the one to has to save one to keep them into it if this one don't go in. So, yeah, a very strange start to the show this evening. But yeah, Kelleher's up now. He'll have to save this, otherwise West Ham will go through. But it's been a good. It's been a good game, isn't it? This one, 2-2.
You're a bit behind me. I was watching the Dublin derby. Oh my god! Right. Just about 20 seconds. I was watching the Dublin derby, Shells versus Rovers. Some game first half was unbelievable, but yeah. Tell me when you've seen that last penalty.
Oh god! Oh, it's a goal then.
No, it was the last. It was just the last of the 5.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, I don't know. Oh, I am behind. That's annoying. But oh wow, yeah, brilliant. So West Ham got through. Yeah, it's a cracking penalty.
That's what we're
amazing. So Kelleher, look, not the end of the world. Knocked out the FA Cup tonight, Brentford. There's breaking news for you, but not the end of the world for Kelleher because look, we I'm of the opinion, Connor. I think we're going to need a penalty shootout to win one of these games. To be honest, I can't see us getting 2 wins in 90 minutes, because that would mean that we've had consecutive, 2 or 3 back-to-back wins, haven't we? So I think one of these could easily be going to penalties. And Kelleher has got a fantastic record. He wasn't really in with us. They were fantastic penalties tonight.
They were all unreal. They were all different class, to be fair.
I mean, that must be something quite ominous when you're facing Queeveen Kelleher and you do know his record. It must be in players' heads. And we'll make a point of this. We'll clip this and we'll make sure that it is in their heads coming forward to the 26th of March, of course, and also the 31st. But anyway, Connor, back into the show properly. Lots to discuss tonight. So as I've said, please do make sure you have subscribed, like the show as well. That means an awful lot in the algorithms of this social media world we live in. And of course, follow Connor at Rep Tracker, myself at PrendyM, and you can follow the show as well on Instagram and on our Facebook page as well. So lots of social media outlets where you can follow us and see all our amazing content. And also check out lansdowne.raw.ie, where we've got some brilliant articles. Connor, you've written a fantastic article. I am proper struggling tonight. You've written a fantastic article going through our Ireland squad and where we are just 3 weeks away, really, from Ireland taking on Czechia. And you've also done a bit of a chat about the under-21s in that as well, which we'll come on to again briefly tonight. But yeah, do check out the website, of course. And if you do want to make sure you can subscribe and support the show a little bit more, you can check us out at Lansdowne Raw Plus. The link to do so is in the description, notes below. You can also support us by buying us a coffee. And we also still have some amazing coasters and sticker sets. Get those in now. We want to see those all over Prague on the 26th of March. Fantastic. Gone down really, really well with Irish fans. So make sure you get them. They are essential merchandise to support the show, but also support the boys in green. And that's what we're going to be doing now as we have a good chat and a deep dive into how the lads got on over the weekend. And first off, we have to start. I'm going to throw up the cover screen again. Been Azaz, FA Cup weekend, but Azaz had a fantastic game by all accounts against Fulham. Connor, tell us more.
Yeah. I thought Finn Azaz was absolutely brilliant yesterday. Very tough away heading to Craven Cottage to face a Premier League side. They're not just your usual Fulham that are kind of battling at the lower half of the table. They've had a really good season, doing really well on a really good manager, Marco Silva. And I thought Finn Azaz was excellent. The one qualm we've always had against him, that the one negative has always been in his game. It's always been in games that Southampton have a lot of the ball, or teams that they seem to do really well. It's when he shines most, is when he's on the ball, can take it on the half turn, near the 18-yard box, can shoot, can create things. But it's really been, can he do it when his team are backs against the wall? Can he do it when they have less possession? And I thought he showed exactly probably the growth in his game over the last year. It's always been that thing we've seen with Ireland. Certain games he's really struggled when he's not had the chance to pick up the ball and do things deep in the game. But I thought he was absolutely brilliant. He was a real outlet at times for Southampton. When they needed, they were under a lot of pressure at times in terms of possession-wise. Every time they got the ball, he was always looking the ball into feet. He was making it simple. He was keeping hold of the ball, and it's exactly what they needed. It wasn't like he was pulling off roulettes and putting it through lads' legs, and he was doing some really, really good things. He put through a couple of unbelievable through balls, and then he had the defining moment very late on in the game. Got the ball in the penalty spot, in the penalty box, and threw a dummy and won a penalty. Done very well to buy the contact, which led to Ross Stewart scoring the penalty, sending Southampton into the next round, where they'll face Arsenal at St Mary's, which will be a huge tie for them, a massive game for them. I thought he was brilliant. I thought he should have got man of the match. Taylor Howard-Bellis got man of the match. You can understand why, because they were defending a lot and he headed a lot of balls and really, really well. But I thought in general, what Finn Azaz offered in terms of just relieving the pressure that they were under. And I was thinking, this looked like a Finn Azaz that looks like he was at home at that level. And you'd always wonder, can he make that step up to the Premier League and show it against a Premier League side? Because the reality is, if he was going to go to a Premier League side, which he does have the technical ability to, because he's absolutely elite, but it's like, can he do the athletic work off the ball? Because that's his biggest negative, is just athleticism. And I think he's shown it on Sunday afternoon. It was a real, real positive. I was surprised how well he done. And we're going to need that in March, because obviously, if we get to the final and it's against Denmark, they're going to have a lot of the possession. But even the semi-final against Czechia, they're not going to be, even though they're not like a huge ball dominant side that play a liquid football, there's going to be parts of the game where we're going to be really under pressure, and we're going to need Finn Azaz to take the ball into his feet, and not just, it's not even a thing of winning free kicks or playing balls in behind to try power it and Ogbene. It's just a thing of using his body, doing it simple, keeping hold of the ball, that we can retain the ball, not give away possession silly, because especially when like Josh Cullen is going to be unavailable and he's our main distributor, our main man to get on the ball and start things from deep. Finn Azaz is going to be under a lot of pressure to get on, and he could be the difference maker really in whether we're going to qualify or not, because we all know his ability on the ball, that he can make a moment, he can really have that moment of magic of scoring, whether from range or slipping the ball in behind the power to, I think we put our life on him scoring in March if given the chance. So yeah, I was really, really impressed by Finn Azaz. We all know how much I've rated him for years, and I think we're finally starting to see the evolution of Finn Azaz from just being a superb technical player to being a real all-rounder.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of a strange one, isn't it, with Ireland? I think, you know, I think we've kind of had lots of promise with him, and probably not established himself as much as maybe he should have. I think Sammy Smolix as well sometimes could be kind of compared with him, even though they're not massively identical. But, you know, just having that influence at a championship club, scoring lots of goals or being responsible for a lot of the assists as well. But, you know, brilliant against Hungary, of course. I mean, when he moved and was switched around, then he had influence on the game. I think he is that kind of game changer for us. Capable, as you said, of playing that key pass or having that assist, or, you know, even, you know, I'm not afraid of him in front of goal. I think I'd be confident that, as well, that he's going to do the right thing and finish really, really solidly as well. So it's brilliant to see that form and the profile as well. I mean, look, just looking at the FA Cup draw there, it's great for his profile as well. I mean, I know he had a move this year that did really well. You know, I spoke to a few Borough fans around New Year actually, and they were saying, "Oh no, he only did well when we were playing well." You know, when it was kind of a bit of a fight in a game, he didn't. That was their view, of course. Respect, you know, it's up to them. They think that, but you know, I think he is a key player for us come March, and that game in Prague. So yeah, brilliant to see him doing well. I'm a big fan of the FA Cup because I think where some of our players are, they will get opportunities to play as well. Obviously, we see Collins in action tonight, and so too Kelleher. But, you know, Finn Azaz had his opportunity there, did really, really well. It does help the profile. They're going to be playing Arsenal next. Those games are actually, I think, 4th and 5th of April, aren't they? So it'll be the week after. So hopefully he'll have a chance to shine, obviously, for his club, and hopefully the celebrations of qualifying for the World Cup won't go to his head too much, Connor, is what I'm going at from that angle there. But yeah, fantastic to see. But again, it does also flag up that another one of our key topics for this tonight is the midfield's woes. We've still got a lot of worries with that. It's who fills that void of Josh Cullen. We'll obviously have a chat when we go through the midfielders in Obig, but, you know, there seems to be a lot of hype and a lot of chat now, obviously, as we lead into the games. What's your views on that at the moment? You know, you said, I mentioned earlier, and you've done a fantastic article for Lansdowne.ie, just chatting about the options we have. But what's your views? Who do you think will get that starting berth in midfield for Ireland at the moment?
Yeah, just check your WhatsApp there, Martin, for a sec, just to make sure I double check something. But anyway, yeah, we're in a tricky situation because Azaz has been one that people have been talking about because of how well he done second half in Hungary when dropping deeper. That, oh, could he drop deeper? We need to make it happen. But the reality is he's not going to do that from the start because what he lacks is off the ball, and we're not going to take that risk and play Azaz deeper. It's just unless we're chasing a game, we're 2-0 down or something, it's not going to happen. In other terms of other midfielders, it kind of seems Jason Malumbi is the cert to start, but you can't be overly confident. But the way I look at it is, he came back in October, came straight back in from the start against Portugal, started against Armenia, was arguably the player, if not top 3 players, over the whole window. But so yeah, it was just one of those ones that I don't know, like, because he obviously missed the Hungary game through suspension, or sorry, the Portugal game at home through suspension. Jack Taylor done all right, and then he came back in for the Hungary game. So you just suspect he'd start, unless he thinks that Malumbi is only the perfect partner for Josh Cullen. And then you have other options like Jason Knight, who'll come back in after missing out through injury in November. Can he start? Like, realistically, who do you put him beside? Does him and Malumbi work together? I don't know. I don't think it's big enough to deal with Czechia. We had the positive news last week of Will Smallbone return and played 45 minutes with their 21s. Then came on Saturday in their 3-1 win against Hull, played 15 minutes in total. And I think he could be maybe the most natural 6 we have in terms of playing that role. Although I don't think it's hard to know if that's his best position because he played a lot at number 10 coming through. But when you look at how he's done for Southampton over the last couple of years, playing as a deeper number 6, I think he's done really well. Other than that, Alan Brown obviously scored at the weekend. People have been speaking about how he's a start to come back in, and he is a start to come back in. And he actually played in midfield yesterday. I thought he done quite well against QPR and scored a header, which Dec Finnegan called him out on, saying that anyone could have scored that header. So he wasn't too impressed by the header, maybe because it was just against QPR. But yeah, he's doing really well with Burr. But I think he's one of those ones who's best about either playing at wing back for Ireland or being that like number 8 in the midfield, because some of Alan Brown's best attributes are those late runs into box, coming into the box, and if you tell him to sit deep in midfield as a number 6, are you taking away from what he's best at? He's a real aggressive midfielder, and I don't think playing as number 6 either really works for him. And like then you're getting down to like the likes of because the likes of Killian Phillips we think has no chance to come back in the squad. Connor Coventry thankfully has started the last 2 games for Charlton, but will he trust Connor Coventry to come in and start a big game? I'd highly doubt it, after he's only played like 10 minutes, 20 minutes in total for Ireland, the senior level. And then the glaring obviously one to me is Boston Lowell. From my understanding, he is back later this week from injury. He will hopefully get minutes on Saturday then, all going well, and then we'll get minutes next Saturday in the last game before the international window, and we will see him build up his minutes for the window. Can he start that first game? Highly, highly doubt it. I think it's almost impossible. But when I look at our squad, the reality with Martin, I just look at it is Boston Noel better than all we've got? Yes. Is Boston Noel better at 80% than all that we've got? Yes. That's all. That's my looking at it. And even like, I don't even think playing as number 6 is his best role, because he's best in midfield when he's given that bit of freedom to kind of pick up the ball and drive past men and show his dribbling ability, because his feet are unbelievable for his size. And playing as a number 6, sometimes you're kind of restricted to sitting deep and trying to dictate play, and if you take those risks and you give away the ball, you could be in a nasty position. But I think when you look at the way Boston is, his size, his athleticism, his ability on the ball, I think he's our by far best option. But he's not going to start, like it's impossible. But like, he just has to be in the squad to be given an option. And like, obviously, if he doesn't start this weekend, will Heimir think, well, he's not going to have enough minutes in the legs come in? But I just think that's not good enough excuse, because as long as he's fit, he should be there, in my opinion. And yeah, it's kind of difficult. It's hard to know, Martin, right now what way, because I really feel for him in that aspect. Like, because with the likes, even like the defender situation where Liam Scales, who was excellent against Rangers yesterday, if he's out injured or if he's suspended for the first game, I think it makes Heimir's job easier in the sense of picking his back 3, because if Scales was there, you're picking between himself, Jacob Bryan, Nathan Collins, Darragh O'Shea. You think Darragh O'Shea and Nathan Collins are the 2 certs, and then you're picking between Liam Scales and Jacob Bryan, which is a really tough choice. But now you're guaranteed you just pick Jacob Bryan. So the midfield thing is just really, really tough for him, and I don't know what he's going to do. But what's your thought process right now, Martin, heading into the last week before the squad announcement?
Well, we know it's a problem position for Ireland, the midfield. I mean, Cullen for me is going to be a massive loss, but I do worry. I don't want to be negative or anything, but like, Heimir does worry me. I think I don't want a revisionist history of Hungary, because it was a rescue act basically, wasn't it? It wasn't a fantastic performance. It was a brilliant comeback, and we've been very hit and miss in this qualification campaign so far. This is obviously our last chance. We've done really well to get back into contention and earn that playoff spot. But the circumstances, again, we'll never forget. But he's got to get this right now, and I think Cullen's going to be a huge loss. I have questioned Heimir in the past as well. We brought in Malumbi when he wasn't in a previous squad. Now he's going to be one of the key men. I think Knight could easily come back in there as well. I think he's going to go tried and tested. and I think we're just going to be very, very compact and difficult to break down. And he'll be thinking that we might have enough, just like and a moment to kind of get a win. And that I was going to say nick a win. We're better than that though. I'd rather we go at them and not go out on your sword. I know that sounds very negative and probably a bit absurd I'm saying it that way, but I think we have nothing to fear with this team that we've taken on. And I think we have some players that I think they will be in fear of. I think everyone in Europe must be afraid of Troy Parrott. I think we need to use his best assets, get Azaz on the ball. I'm hoping Bene's going to be fit and raring to go, of course. So, I mean, Mikey Johnson, again, was a player I think can actually change things in a game sometimes. So I was disappointed he's out. But, I can see Alan Brown being picked in the squad. I can't see him being brave enough to give Boston Lowell his debut, even if we had lots and lots and lots of injuries. And I think there's certainly a shout when we do qualify for the World Cup that he will be in the World Cup squad, because I think, he might just be the one. Then you go, okay, here's someone that the world doesn't know about, and he's going to be a player for us. And just on the reputation of being around squads previously. But I think it's, you've got to have a really hard work in midfield there and try and get Troy on the ball as much as possible in key areas where he's going to hurt them, and have Azaz with that creativity. So obviously looking forward to the game, but it's just this with midfield long term, it's Boston Lowell for me coming in there. But I think where we are at the moment, just in where he is, sadly, I think if he'd had that run of games playing in midfield, it would have been the time for him. And it goes back probably to some of the frustration with the kind of the window now, the international window. You don't get to have friendlies and things. We don't get to see these players in camps, for example, like working with them over a sustained period to see what they're about. But we know that John O'Shea is a big fan of Boston, and hopefully he has a bit of sway in getting him selected in the squad. He's certainly going to be in the squad for me, but I don't know if he's going to be given the opportunity in that such a key game. I think he'll go tried and tested in that way, to be honest. But let us know your thoughts in the comments, please. We want to hear your views. We've got a few.
What's your midfield here at the moment?
I think he'll go with Malumbi, and I think he'll go with Jason Knight and maybe Taylor as well. I think he will go in with them. Well, Azaz will be in there.
He's going to go with Malumbi, Jason Knight, and Jack Taylor. So that's three midfielders to play two positions.
No, the two. Sorry, the two will be. I think he'll go with Knight and he'll go with Malumbi. I think he just will. I think Knight will just gives a lot of energy and gets around everywhere, and I think he'll hold a little bit more. And Knight can, I've often said about Knight, he's been a victim of being so versatile, but we have a lot of Irish players like that in the past. Like David Meyler was like that as well. Never really knuckle down and get a certain position, and it's strange that Knight now has probably established himself actually a central midfielder more than he's played right wing back for us. He's played as a kind of number 10 in the past as well, I think, at times in games, just with his energy and things. But yeah, I think he'll go with them. I do like Taylor.
I just don't.
I think his running is really important as well. But I think Azaz is obviously going to start for me as well.
Yeah, the more I think of it, the more I think you'd be idiotic to go with Knight and Malumbi together, because the two of them just want to cover ground, and either Malumbi or Knight does it in more in a calculated way, but he just loves to cover ground and get on the thing. And I think his best positions for Ireland has always been kind of the furthest forward of the three midfielders. Is kind of where he kind of has a license to go where he wants, but does it from higher up, and leads to kind of press from the front. And that's why I'm thinking, I feel like for that other number 6 role, I think it's only between Taylor, or I think it's really only between Coventry, Smallbone, Brown, or Lowell. I don't think you can play Jack Taylor there, and I don't think you can play Malumbi or Knight there, because although we do play with kind of two number 6s, one of them is given more of a license to get around the park, and it is that Malumbi role, but you can only pick one midfielder like that. So when you think of it, it's the more I think of it, it's I don't think he can, unless he thinks Knight has the ability to sit deeper, which in fairness he does do at Bristol City. To do play with two number 6s like that, and none of them are necessarily your Josh Cullen type of just sitting deep, whether it's himself or Randall, or even Sam Morrissey, who they signed in January. So the more I think I think it'd be fair to have a Connor Coventry or Will Smallbone, or Boston Noel, or even like if he trusts Alan Brown to sit as number 6. But Alan Brown hasn't played as a number 6. He plays like when he played like yesterday, he was kind of playing as a right-sided centre midfielder that kind of swapped with Morgan Whittaker all the time between right wing and in midfield. So like, I just don't. It's such a difficult position that he's in. Even like someone like Joe Hodge, who's starting week in, week out now in Portugal, started again tonight. I think he played 75 minutes.
Yeah,
I just don't think he'd go with that because, like, I honestly think if Boston Noel was playing week in, week out without that injury, he would have picked him, to be honest. And I think he would have done it. But I just don't think he's going to do that. But I think he will give him minutes.
Yeah.
At some stage, because I just know how good he thinks he is. And it'll be interesting. It just depends on. I think it just depends how this weekend goes when he comes on at the weekend, what position he comes on in, because obviously Stoke, and I read an interesting article that was sent to me earlier about injuries and the increased chances of injuries when you go from position to position, because obviously you're putting different stress on your body and different, obviously, muscles, different areas, and like he was getting thrown from centre back to left back to right back to midfield, and it's no surprise that those injuries have come from going from position to position. Like he was playing right back when he was playing left back for like 3 or 4 weeks, and then like he was playing left back for a while, and then he ended up playing right back. But when you think of it, when he's playing left back as a right footer, you're more naturally just going to come in on your right foot rather than go down the byline. Whilst if you're a right footer playing right back, you're more likely to try and maybe take your man on and whip a cross in, because you're going to be a lot more safe on your left, unless you're like Hamsik or Santi Cazorla, where your 2 feet are as good as each other. But unfortunately, not many footballers are like that. But yeah, I think he's in a really difficult place.
Yep. No. Interesting comments. Yeah, I hadn't really thought about the kind of toll of injuries and things, like the risk of it. Yeah, you're turning different ways, aren't you, in different positions? Yeah. Makes perfect sense. Is that an article you wrote? Was it, Connor?
No, I read. I didn't write that.
Right, keep your comments coming in. Really do appreciate your support of the show tonight as well. And while you're here, make sure you have, of course, subscribed and supported the show that way as well. Give this video a like as well. Does help us with all the algorithms. And make sure you are obviously following Rep Tracker out on X, and also us on Instagram and all our social media platforms. We're on Facebook as well, of course. And I saw an interesting comment on Facebook that made me laugh earlier, where I think it was you might have posted something, Connor, and I'm not going to name and shame the person, but they said it's time for Collins to be played in centre midfield. It was that old argument coming out.
Keeps happening.
Yeah, keeps happening. Anyway, but yeah, give us your thoughts. Give us your comments on the show tonight. We're going to get on to Big now, and then we're going to just finalise a little bit of news, obviously, with Evan Ferguson that's broken in this week as well. But we're going to do Big now, as it will give you an update on how the lads got on over the weekend. Here we go. Right, starting off with the goalkeepers in action over the weekend. A very quiet weekend in a sense, but Queven Kelleher, 120 minutes, no penalty saves in a shootout, lost tonight. Max O'Leary, 90 minutes in a 1-1 draw versus Sheffield United. And Josh Keeley, 90 minutes in a 3-2 loss versus Reading. Mark Travers did not have a game for Everton. And Gavin Bazunu is currently out injured on loan at Stoke. So that's it with the goalkeepers. Yeah, no penalty saves, as I said. West Ham knocked Brentford out the FA Cup, which is obviously a disappointing result for our Irish manager, Keith Andrews. Nathan Collins as well won't be lifting the FA Cup at Wembley this year. Kelleher won't be adding an FA Cup again to his fantastic CV, although we don't like to mention the club that he won them with.
It doesn't count. He wasn't playing.
Exactly. But Connor, anything of note there? Josh Keeley shipped in free. Was he at fault for any of those? Be careful with your words.
No, he got let down. He got let down by his defence, to be honest. I actually put that on for the last 15-20 minutes the other day. It was good to see actually Sean Patton, Ireland underage international, probably a call up to 21s this month, I think, or Marco Mahoney out. Came on for the last half an hour for Reading after a really good loan spell at Aldershot. But he was kind of let down by his defence, to be honest. I don't want to name the player, but one individual made 2 awful mistakes and really let him down. And they were 2-1 up. I think they had like 20 shots to Reading's like 5 or 6 in the whole game. And then Reading got 2 goals in the last 5 minutes to flip the score around and win 3-2. So yeah, disaster for Luton, who really need to put a run together now if they're going to finish in the playoffs. It's been a disaster for them. Other than that, the goalkeepers, obviously we spoke about Kelleher. Bazunu looks like he's back training, or he's back this week. They play Ipswich tomorrow, so I expect him to be in goal tomorrow. If he's not starting, if he doesn't play between now and the window, I'd question whether to call him up because he's not played. But it'd be interesting now because obviously if he doesn't, I think they'll just drop Simkin and play Bazunu because obviously they'd have to pay his wages if they don't play him as well as that. But yeah, other than that, Travers is still not going to play for the rest of the season, and Max O'Leary can't keep a clean sheet at West Brom. They're really struggling to stay up there just outside the relegation zone. They got a good point actually away to Sheffield United the other day, but unfortunately so.
Okay. Just on goalkeepers as well, obviously looking ahead to 26th of March. Obviously we'll have Kelleher in goal for Ireland. But the other game, obviously Denmark obviously in the other playoff game, but Schmeichel's not playing at the moment for Celtic. Is that illness or what is it? What's going on with him?
With Kelleher?
No, Schmeichel not playing for Celtic.
Oh, Denmark. They said it was illness last weekend, but I don't know what happened yesterday.
Yeah,
maybe
still not in there,
fans can tell us if he was just dropped again. But he was taken out for illness and then hasn't been seen since. So I don't know whether they decided to stick with the other boy because the other boy he's done quite well since he's come in.
Yeah, he's been in poor form as well, and Schmeichel was hoping he would be, but it would be okay. Right, here we go. Defenders. Robbie Brady not in the squad for Preston North End as he's still coming back from injury, of course. John Egan, an unused sub for Hull City. Seamus Coleman, no game for Everton. Nathan Collins, 120 minutes and an assist tonight in the penalty shootout loss to West Ham. Matt Doherty was an unused sub for Wolverhampton Wanderers. Joshua Honohan is in action hopefully tomorrow for Lincoln. Jake O'Brien, no game for Everton. Andrew Omar-Bamadelli, 90 minutes in a 0-0 draw versus Auxerre. Darragh O'Shea, 90 minutes in a 1-1 draw versus Leicester for Ipswich. Liam Scales, 120 minutes in a 4-2 penalty shootout win versus Rangers. James Abankwah is playing tomorrow for Watford. Jimmy Dunn, 90 minutes in a 4-0 loss. Another heavy defeat for QPR versus Borough. Callum O'Dowd, 5 minutes in a 3-1 win versus Spartacus for Ferencváros. Mark McGuinness, an unused sub for Sheffield United, still struggling to get in there. And Ryan Manning, 90 minutes in a 1-0 win versus Fulham for Southampton. Aaron Cash, 90 minutes in a 1-1 draw versus Portsmouth for Blackburn. And Anselmo Garcia McNulty, 90 minutes in a 1-1 draw versus Sparta Rotterdam for Zwolle. And Will Ferry, 90 minutes in an assist in a 2-1 loss versus Falkirk. And Corian Darba was an unused sub for Lecce. And that is your defenders. So we saw Nathan Collins in action tonight with another assist. But
yeah, done well. But Dave would have done all big tonight when or done the defenders and goalkeepers when he put Josh Honan in place on Tuesday. So yeah, it was I was just reading something there.
Tomorrow.
Josh Honan is injured. I don't think he'll be back for a while. So I don't know why Dave said Tuesday. But anyway. What I was saying is I got distracted by a comment there. On the defenders, Robbie Brady, disaster Friday night. We expect him to be back on the bench. He maybe start for Preston, and he wasn't even involved at all. So the worry now is it looks like he's injured. And now what is the situation with the left wing back position, Martin? Obviously, Ryan Manning comes back in and played another. He done quite well against Fulham as well the other day, but it was more of a kind of a deeper fullback. He wasn't really showing what he could offer going forward. But yeah, who would you have as backup? Callum O'Dowd. I know he played 90 minutes early last week, but that was in the cup. He only got 5 minutes the other day, which is a worry. And then who are you looking after that? Kevin O'Toole. I asked Dave was supposed to add Kevin O'Toole today.
Yeah.
He seems to have started the season actually quite well at New York City FC, but I just don't think he'd pick him over Callum O'Dowd with the experience and stuff. Will Ferry's obviously doing very well at Dundee United again this season, but I don't think he'll pick him. Anselmo Garcia McNulty, you're not going to play him as a wing back in a back five. The same with Corey and Daba. So, like, Martin, would you bring Cod back in if Brady's out, or would you even bring Doherty back in?
I think
and if Doherty is covering that side,
I think
or would you even go for
yeah.
Ken O'Toole?
No, I can't see O'Toole getting in there. To be honest, I think it could be a case of not redemption's the wrong word, but I think he could call up Doherty, knowing big game, senior pro, a little bit like Egan was called up. Now I don't know. I think Egan around the squad and is different. I'd imagine Matt Doherty, and I'm judging that on Matt Doherty making comments in the media and things when he's been left out and feeling disrespected again, which I don't think was really warranted. It's interesting. I'm interested to see Heimir talk about that when he announces his squad, which is on the 19th of March, of course. But it's just there's loads of comments coming in, so I'm a bit distracted because it's making me laugh. Which we will obviously get to. But yeah, O'Dowd, I just don't think I think the body will let him down. Just seems to be very inconsistent, being available and able to play. I think Manning obviously will be in there. I can't see Kevin O'Toole being in there. I think Doherty could be a shout just because he can cover both sides, and it's not necessarily having him as someone that you have to bring in and play. I think, for example, if Robbie Brady is fit, I think you start Robbie Brady. To be honest, I would have him in there.
I think he
yeah,
would.
I think he would. I think he would look at that. I think, yeah, I think he would.
Or would you have Boston Wallace at left wing back cover either? Because he showed it this season that he can play
but I just can't see him trusting. Like, I think Heimer's going to be tried and tested with this. This is going to be this is going to be grind it out. It's nothing, we're not going to be too open with a lot of stuff in this game. I think we'll obviously chat and cover this in more depth in the build up to the game. Of course, as I said, squad's announced on the 19th of March. We'll have it all covered here on Lansdowne Raw. But I think we'll be looking in depth on how the game will actually be, and what we think it will be as well. And it'll be interesting to hear from Heimir as he kind of is chatting now. And we'll come on to that a little bit later. I've seen a few comments about Heimir. I'd love to have a chat with him, and some people did, of course. Fantastic show the other night, Connor. We do a League of Ireland show. You mentioned that there, the little interview that the lad, what was his name, got caught with
Barry from LOI Talk.
Yeah, LOI Talk, Barry from that. Brilliant from that little interview in the chat with Heimir, and really approachable as I've experienced myself. But that was good fun, I think. So
what about just one other defender? Aaron Cashin, back-to-back player of the month at Blackburn, proving a certain Mr. Dunn wrong again. Doing excellently well as a left centre back. We all know Liam Scales is suspended for the first game.
Yeah.
So we could maybe be an option, but I don't think he has any chance, to be honest. I think if any centre half's going to come in that hasn't been in lately, it'll be Andrew Omobamidele.
It is like Dave being on the show.
Yeah, I think Andy'd come back in if any centre half was to come back in. Just because he's been there before.
O'Shea can play that left side as well, can't he?
Yeah. He can, yeah. They all can. Like, if you can't play left centre half as a centre half at that level, there's something wrong with you. But obviously the right footers are going to be better on the right. But yeah, I think Darragh O'Shea will play there the first game anyway. But it'll be interesting if Omobamidele gets a sniff. But I don't think he has any chance, to be honest. Just he'll stick with continuity despite the level he's playing at. Like, John Egan was an unused sub at the weekend, but I'm guessing that was more for rotation because there's a lot of championship games on midweek now. It's the last midweek ties before the squad's announced.
Yep. Okay. Right. We're going to get on now with see how the midfielders got on in Obig. Here we go. Jason Knight, 90 minutes in a 2-0 loss versus Coventry for Bristol City. Killian Phillips, 90 minutes in a 2-1 win versus Patrick Thistle. Will Smallbone, Cousin Will, 15 minutes, 3-1 win versus Hull for Millwall. Still on the charge. Jack Taylor, 11 minutes in a 1-1 draw versus Leicester. And Josh Cullen, sadly, still out injured. Azaz, 90 minutes in a 1-0 win versus Fulham. Mark Sykes, 62 minutes, 2-0 loss versus Coventry. Jason Malumbi, 89 minutes in a 1-1 draw versus Sheffield United for West Brom. Andy Moran, an unused sub, still at Preston North End. Jamie McGrath, no game for Hibs. Alan Brown, 90 minutes and a goal in a 4-0 win versus QPR for Middlesbrough. And Boston Lowell out injured at the moment with Stoke City. Connor Coventry, 89 minutes in a 1-0 win versus Birmingham for Charlton Athletic. Joe Hodge played tonight, 75 minutes versus Rio Ave. And Jacob Devaney, 26 minutes in 2-1 win versus Partick Thistle for St Mirren. And that was your midfielders. Right, Connor.
Good win for the lads at St Mirren, who are on to the Scottish Cup semi-final, where they will meet Falkirk, I believe. No, they'll meet Celtic. It's Celtic against St Mirren, so that's a great tie. They actually Dunfermline, who Freddie Turley from Derby County, Irish under-19 captain now, has been called up to 21s as well, is on loan at. He was playing for them in their win against Aberdeen the other day. So Neil Lennon as his manager, they're in the Scottish Championship, so a great win for them. They're in one semi-final. Yeah, and it was good to see Joe Hodge get another 75 minutes tonight. Said about Coventry because he spoke about the midfielders a lot. I'm still very pissed off about the Andy Moore situation. As I said before, it was a move seen as good value rather than playing this player with a plan. Other than that, midfielders, there was not much really to mention. To be honest, Martin. Mark Sykes looks to be on that like right hand side backup. Obviously Fessie's out for the first game. So will he call up another right hand sided player who can also play? Sykes will also play left wing back if needed. Because we'll speak about McAteer at the forward, but he didn't get any minutes at the weekend, and Sykes started again. So not much really that because we spoke about midfielders much already. But yeah.
Okay. Right, here we go. And this is the attackers. So full of goals. Here we go. Right, our forwards for Ireland. Here we go. Festy Abasele not in the squad for Istanbul. Evan Ferguson out injured. We'll have a little chat about that in a minute. Adamida injured for Swansea City still. Casey McAteer was an unused sub for Ipswich Town. Troy Parrott, 88 minutes and 2-1 loss versus PSV. Sammy Schmodix, 74 minutes and 2-1 win versus Sheffield Wednesday. Sinclair Armstrong, 62 minutes and 2-0 loss versus Coventry. And Mikey Johnson out injured with West Brom. Rocco Battle is also out injured. And Tom Cannon, 9 minutes in a 2-1 loss versus West Brom for Sheffield United. Chidozie Ogbene was not in the squad for Sheffield United. Tyler Goodrum is out injured still at Oxford United. Adoma Amaku, 30 minutes in a 2-1 win versus West Brom. Johnny Kenny, 81 minutes in a 2-2 draw versus Wickham for Bolton. Owen Elding, no game for Hibs. And Melenik Ali, 90 minutes in a 1-0 loss versus Hull for Portsmouth. And that is your forwards. Yeah, not a lot of goals. So should be worried. Lots of injuries there as well. I mean, it is, it's been a bit, I don't want to be too negative, but lots of injuries, lots of lads not playing in that O-Big this week, especially. And, we're hearing some of them are recovering and, back in training and things. But yeah, we've got to be looking to get some of them now next few weeks back. And, it's a difficult one, isn't it, for Heimir and John O'Shea? Trying to judge things, and I think that's where I think it is going to be tried and tested because he's just not seeing enough of some of these lads who perhaps could be, candidates to be called up into the squad, or then they're just not showing enough of what they can actually do. I think just because they're not getting game time with their clubs, which is really frustrating.
Yeah, a lot of lads obviously in the periphery. We'll speak about Ferguson in a second. I seen Celtic in the comments having a go at Sinclair Armstrong. I think he's making up lies because I was watching that game against Coventry and I thought he started very well. First 15 minutes, he was the best player on the pitch. They actually went 2 up front the other day with himself and Emile Rees, who's the other striker at the club. And they don't tend to do it that often. But it's kind of a bit like yin and yang. It was a bit like what Ireland kind of play with Parrott and Ogbene. You have the slower, probably more technical player, and then you have the brute of a fast athlete who can make the runs in behind playing alongside him, and it worked very well for first 15 minutes, and then Reese gave the ball away and Coventry then scored, and then they scored a second then, and then they got a red card and stuff, and then came off after 60. Himself and Hovert, who was their best player, both came off, 2 best players they had, and a lot of them very unhappy Bristol City fans, but it seems like he must be resting those two to start tomorrow night. So obviously they were looking at tomorrow night as well, but it was still a strange thing to do because they were both actually playing quite well. Other than that, forwards wise, yeah, we spoke about Johnson is out for the window. We would have hoped Rocco Vata would have been the alternative to him, but obviously he's out for the rest of the season, which is a balls. Milanic Ali obviously is an option there, but he probably would need to start scoring and assisting every game to even be an option. But I just don't think he will. He's not really that type of player anyway to score and assist. Festi out of the squad again already. He was on the bench earlier last week, then not on the bench the weekend. Although I did see him share with a couple of happy emojis when they won the other day. So unless he picked up another knock or there was a reason he was in the squad, it's very strange. We'd hope Eid is back this week. We'd presume so, considering he has been out for so long. He obviously he's due back for the window. We expect him to be back, but there's only 3 games of championship action before the window, tomorrow and Wednesday, and then Saturday, and then the following Saturday. So he might get 90 minutes at most between the 3 games, if even. Sammy Smodics is still starting, which is probably a positive. I watched Azaz Alkmaar the other night as well. I thought Parrott did as much as he possibly could do. 80 probably 6th minute, he should have had a tap in. Cassius was 2-on-1 with the keeper, and Cassius decided to shoot. He missed, and within 60 seconds, PSV went over up the other end, and Perisic had the same kind of option, although it was in there, and he headed down to Pepe, and Pepe tapped home, and he should have been able to finish it and should have got an easy goal, but unfortunately, his teammate kind of let him down by not laying it off to him, and cost him not just 1 point, but 3 points because they got the winner. And when he came off, he was absolutely fuming. He was going mad at the manager, saying, "Tell him to pass the effing ball. Tell him to pass the ball. I'm open." So yeah, he wasn't happy at all. But it's a striker's mentality, isn't it? He just wants to score the goals. But yeah, Martin, I don't think, and obviously we can go on to Ferguson now whenever you want. But
yeah, so
Johnny Kenny obviously started again, but didn't score at the weekend.
So yeah, Evan Ferguson just obviously was confirmed, wasn't it, this week? He has undergone an operation on that troublesome ankle injury. No word yet on how that has developed, and that it's kind of gone well or anything like that. No official word of it anyway. But this is how long are we speculating that this is going to keep him out for? Obviously, it's keeping him out of the games in March, but is this like World Cup ending if we get there?
Yeah, David Schneid said it was looking like today was going to be surgery. I know it came out of Italy last week saying it was going to be this week. So it seems like he got it done today, although there's been no confirmation that it was done today, and sometimes surgeries get moved. But it looks like he's out for the rest of the season. Gasparini said last week, I believe, that we probably won't see him in a Roma shirt again, which isn't a surprise. And they're not going to activate that buy option because the deal hasn't gone as well as possible. And even if the probably is if he had scored 20 goals for Roma this season, they probably wouldn't have exercised that option, and they probably would have just tried to negotiate down, even though it was 40 million. So it wasn't a huge buy option. But yeah, his days in a Roma shirt are over. His season's over in terms of club anyway. Whether we see him at the World Cup, whether we qualify or not, we do not know at this stage. It's just too early to know. It'll be a real race against time. Will Ireland pick him if he's 75% and he says, "I want to go"? I would be shocked if we didn't. I think the FAI staff, the management would tell him, even if you don't even train for Roma between now and the end of the season, but you're back even running maybe on grass by yourself and you can build up with us whilst your kind of lads are in the warm-up games in Canada and stuff. And I seen it the other day, actually, on Instagram. It's in North Texas is where they or whoever wins our playoff will be based. So which is actually quite good because I was looking at what way the route would be from going from Montreal after we play that friendly, and it's a 4-hour flight from Montreal to you fly into Dallas, and then you go to North Texas to the Mansfield Stadium is where they're hosting it, and then you take another 2-hour flight to Guadalajara then after that. So maybe I still think they would bring him if he's 70-85%, because I know he's only 21 and he should be looking at his future, and a player that age will be looking for the long term, and obviously he'll be going back to Brighton. But the reality is, you can see how much it means Evan Ferguson to play for Ireland. He would have been doing everything possible to make sure he was okay to play this month. it would have been his priority to play this month, and unfortunately he's had to give up that hope because it's just not possible and get the surgery. And he will be on his mind, is like, get myself fit for the World Cup. I need to be fit for the World Cup, and that's probably why he's getting the surgery now as soon as possible to start the recovery process. And yeah, so I think even if he feels 80%, I feel like he'll just say himself, no, I want to go, I have to go, I have to go. Because when was the last time Ireland played the World Cup, Martin? 24
2002.
years ago.
Yeah.
And if you add another 24 years ago, he will be, or 24 years to his age now, he will be 45, and he will be long retired. That's just, well, not long, hopefully maybe 3 or 4 years. But so like, I think he wouldn't want to risk maybe giving up the option of playing his only World Cup, as bad as that sounds.
Yeah, well, we speculated, didn't we, about this option to have this this operation a while ago, a few weeks ago, and I think the timing is key for that because it is the recovery, obviously weight bearing as well, load bearing, these kind of injuries, recoveries. We've seen it. We've had a lot of ankle injuries. Chio was out with one, wasn't he? Bazuni's had one as well. We've also got the situation with Mikey Johnson now. Again, it just seems that's the kind of buzz injury we've got. But this has been a bit long term with Evan, and I think I would expect him to have had some guidance on this to say, look, if you do it now, forget the club season. And we were saying do that anyway, just like rest. Don't worry about coming back for Roma, but get yourself ready. Your target's the World Cup. I'm hoping that is what he's focusing on. And I would guess that it surely must have been that you do this now, you have got your focus then just to get back fit for that World Cup. I don't think that's impossible, thinking, 3 months basically. So that it could happen, just I think the time frames with it. So wish him best of luck, of course, with recovery. Hope it goes well. And, we know that he will get best opportunities. We'll get the best opportunities, of course, in to come in with Ireland and be part of the squad and everything like that. And that's what I think is going to probably happen there. Ireland will look after him. His club will hopefully look after him as well. But he's going to get given the best opportunity to be fit for Ireland. And I would even have him around. I think he's so important to Irish football. I would have him around the Ireland squad even now as his recovery and stuff. I know it would be disheartening that he can't play and things, but I'd love him to kind of be part of it because I think this squad is really galvanised. Yeah, I would think so.
I'd say he will be. I'd say he'll be. I'd say he'll be there like Robbie Brady was. In November and October. I'd say, like, even as a fan, I could say he'll just want to be there in Dublin for the final game. Maybe he mightn't be in Prague, unless he wants to come out in the sauce with all of us night before the game. Evan, you're more than welcome if you're watching. No, I'd say he'll be in Dublin anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Look, this is a view, of course, Kieran Marley here. We're going to get to your comments now, but he said ankle operation 6 months, Martin. Yeah, I know it is, but there's different. There are different operations.
It's too vague of a thing.
Yeah, there are.
It's too vague of an operation. Like, obviously, Arazi got an ankle surgery about a month ago, I believe, and he is hopefully be back in early April time. So like you'd be hoping, like, because the thing is, the World Cup hasn't been officially ruled out. I think if he wasn't going to be available for the World Cup, I think it would have been clearly ruled out. So I think we just have to wait and see, to be honest.
Yeah. Okay. Just on the subject of that, because I was thinking, we're getting carried away. We're talking about something that Ireland might not even be in the World Cup. Have you seen this Guy Ireland advert, Roy Keane?
Which one?
The one where he's there and they're all doing the parrots. They've got the parrot balloons, and he's saying you're not even there. Not you must have seen that.
I've seen the one they've done with like Festi and Amber Barrett and Nathan Collins. The really one, the all emotional one.
Oh, it's very good. Roy Keane.
I need to see that one.
Very good. Right, we're going to get on to your comments, but yeah, thank you for almost 1,000 of you watching again this evening. So make sure you do subscribe to the channel. Give this episode a like as well. The Dream Team are back in action tonight. Myself and Connor. We're going to be wrapping it up in about 20 minutes because I've got a very, very early starts tomorrow. And if anyone has any information for Cheltenham, because that's where I'm heading, I don't mind chatting about horses on here. Give us a few tips if you want, or let us know what your tips are for tomorrow. A little bit more interaction, no harm. And if you are interested as well on being a partner of the show or work for a company who would interest of sponsoring our fantastic show, Lansdowne Raw. Please do get in touch with us. Our DMs are always open. You can chat to us about anything on there. But yeah, we also are really pleased to see our newest partner, basically, Traveligo, a fantastic company who do bespoke trips and for Premier League, Champions League games. If you want to have that dream trip to watch Champions League football or the Premier League, your team over in England, make sure that you check out Traveligo. They'll arrange all the travel, hotels, tickets for the games. Fantastic company that we're really proud to be associated with. So we're going to be using them, of course, for our travels to America when we come to the World Cup. But yeah, in the meantime, we're going to wrap on very, very quickly now through your comments. It's been very entertaining. We've tried to focus on the show tonight, but it has been quite entertaining. Just kind of checking out that. I'm going to be very clear. I'm not censoring anything, but I'm not going to throw up every comment here tonight because some of it's just conversations and a lot of it's
if you're having conversations,
we will get through. We will get through with them all. But here we go. Your comments. Okay, we've covered quite a bit of this already, of course, but the first comment of this evening was looking likely Knight gets the second midfield spot, or do you disagree? What does he need to improve to be effective here? What are we losing with Cullen that Knight or the others need to cover? Connor.
Keep that up on the screen just so I can read it because you spoke that in your English accent.
Okay.
He looks just
oh, for me, I'll answer quickly. What my view is, what we're losing with Cullen. Cullen's most underrated player, I think, in Ireland have got there. You've just got to see sometimes of him. The simple thing, it looks simple what he does, but it's just positioning. It's just shuffling over. It's nothing pretty, but it's just cutting out angles of passes and things like that. That defensive midfielding role is just, it's such a difficult role for me to kind of even think about sometimes. It's very underrated, undervalued. We know we'll talk about CDMs now and things like that, but to be able to understand them and do things that are just not noticed, like the ball doesn't come and get played there and you intercept it, it looks like you haven't done anything, but it's being in that position to actually stop the player attempting that is the key for that role. Like Glenn Whelan was so underrated with Ireland doing it, and then when he wasn't there anymore, everyone's going, we need Glenn Whelan in there now to coach these lads what to do. So that's what for Cullen, I think it's fascinating. I've watched Ireland when they took on, I think it was Hungary, wasn't it? In a game, it wasn't Hungary. No, can't remember who it was even against. But it was just his movement. That's all he was doing, just going side to side. Nothing pretty, nothing spectacular. But I think we have lost that with him. And I think Malumbi isn't as good as him doing that role. Connor, would you agree with that? Or just
yeah, it's just the way he reads the game. I think it's just the way he reads the game, the way he is a leader as well. He's the best communicator we probably have in that midfield. Although Knight kind of leads by example, by his work rate, his endeavour, his getting into a 50-50. If he has to make a big hit, he actually does do it to kind of rile everyone up. But I think Knight just doesn't offer that composure off the ball, that football brain that Josh Cullen does. Although Jason Knight is very technical, he's good in tight spaces, which I think he's quite underrated at. Because a lot of people see him in Ireland and he always kind of struggles, but when he does for Bristol City, he looks he looks a real complete championship midfielder, which is not easy thing to do in a Bristol City side. So yeah, I think it's just the off the ball awareness, his ability to read the game is where kind of Cullen separates himself.
Yep, no, I agree with that. Great question, by the way, there as well from Jake. Also, sorry, I was just going to throw this one up here. I've jumped around a bit, but listen, lads, it's going to be some going. If we beat Czechia, I was down in the bookies in the weekend and they have us at 4-1 to win it. Seems like none of our boys in green are playing well, bar Didsy, and Azaz and Troy. So yeah, they from a betting perspective, I have a look at this. I think we're 3-1 to win it in the actual 90 minutes, but probably 4-1 to qualify, I'd imagine. Maybe even less, but I haven't really checked it out since I've put my bet on. But yeah, we will obviously cover that a little bit of that as well. This next comment, Ben McElwain. Any word on the FAI and the away fans being moved? Haven't heard of it in a while. Yeah, this is in relation to Heimir being asked about, how accommodating we are. And I love your little avatar there showing the Aviva Stadium, Lansdowne Road, of course. But yeah, we're very welcoming. We give them the best seats in the house, obviously in the North Stand there. So behind the goal, and I think where Heim was thinking of that was in the situation with a penalty shootout, especially. Whereas, when Ireland fans, when we go abroad, we're thrown up in the gods with a very, very limited view behind netting often. I think back to the the game in Amsterdam when we're behind loads of plastic shields and could barely see the pitch. Not that we really wanted to see with the performance that night, but it's Heimir making that point of how we are very, very welcoming to teams and their fans when they come over to Dublin. They've not moved this. They can't. It's too late in the day to do it. Season tickets have been sold. We've got a number of season tickets in, various areas of the ground, and you're committed to those. And I know it was only for 2026 that they were doing the renewals and things, but it would have been logistically a nightmare to try and do that now. Also, from a policing perspective, thinking back to even the Nations Cup games and things like that, we did that a few years ago. And Northern Ireland didn't bring a lot of fans, but the Welsh did as well. It's easier to police people coming in and the away fans for a certain section into one particular stand behind the goal than it is and you kind of go around the back of the Lansdowne Road Rugby Club next door, that kind of way, and keeping fans in. So if you put them up high on the west stand or east stand, we're going to have issues from a security perspective because you're traveling around there, Irish fans as well. So I can't see it happening for the time being. And I know it will give a little bit of advantage for example, penalty shootout. As I said, that was Heimer's view as far as I interpreted it anyway. But yeah, nothing progress on that, and I think it's because of the season ticket renewals, of course, as well. Right, Frank O'Connor, how you doing, Frank? Frank is one of our most loyal supporters. Great to see you. And he says, all right, lads, I'm back in Ireland, not used to this late night live show. It's only 3:30 in San Francisco, and that's where he normally resides, and that's where we're going to be. We're going to just visit him a little bit, aren't we, when we celebrate after the World Cup, when we're having a bit of R&R. We'll have
you mean when we get to the knockout stages? Yeah, we have a game in California.
Okay, there you go. Right, but yeah, great to see you, Frank. Hope you're well. And thanks for your support as always. Looking forward to seeing Czechia. Rory says, another goal for Dizzy, lads. Some boy, Heimir has to reach out to him, so he does now. Sure, who else is there? Armstrong and that cannon could play all day and wouldn't score.
That cannon.
Little dig at your boy there.
Yeah, Dizzy's class. What's it, 11 in his last 10?
Yeah,
the GOAT, he never ruled it out on Friday night at the Galway United game. So yeah, it could certainly be an option. I wouldn't be against it. Although I think his time in Ireland shirt is done and we've kind of moved on. But I love Dizzy's the king. Martin wants him in badly.
I do want him badly in. I'd have him in there. I would. That's where we are as strikers. Look, we've just gone through Obig and we've seen how many are injured. And even their scoring form is not fantastic. I mean, look, not great record for Ireland, but he's in scoring form at the moment. So bring him in. If we play 5-4-1, says Oren Martin, you have Azaz and Alan Brown as wide midfielders with a Benny off the bench and Brown into right wing back if needed.
Good point.
Frank also says, great article, Connor. This is on lansdowneraw.ie. Check this out. It's Connor going through the options in the squad, and he also does a fantastic bit on the under-21s as well. That's enough praising Connor. We'll move on. Clem Fandango, liquid football. Aha. Sligo boy, hello lads. Same old BBC. When looking for live score tonight, only in play is revealed. Yet all obscurantist results from around the world are updated. Okay. Is that to do with the League of Ireland?
Yeah, yes, he's given away the League of Ireland.
Yeah, it's frustrating that. It really is, yeah. Keno 1606 says, great work as always, lads. Also a Lansdowne Raw Plus supporter. So welcome aboard, of course. Great work as always, lads. Appreciate you from over here in the Sunshine State, Florida, Knox Wexford. I am buzzing for Prague. Good to see Andrew Omabamadeli getting minutes in lately. We have some breaking news, Connor. We have a new supporter. Here he is, a long-term supporter. Is this new?
Jason for Simons? I don't know.
It obviously is. Welcome
I don't
aboard.
know, unless he might have been already sometimes when you rejoin. But no, he must be, because you should say it's rejoin. So welcome, Jason. Hi, if you're only just a member now, Jason.
Yeah, Jesus, the thing. The shout out giving you. I'm joking.
Used to he is from Cavan. He's a mean so-and-so. He's from Cavan, taking a five out of their pocket. He spends it in any bloody jersey. He won't spend it on us. Yeah, Jason.
Right, it's been noted. No, I'm looking forward to having a drink with you and a chat with you, of course.
No, Jason, Jason was already a member, just he's rejoined. It says.
All right, okay. There you go. You can join twice if you want.
Yeah. You can join Spotify as well.
Yep. Yes, you can. You can actually catch us on Spotify, and if you do, give us a 5-star rating. It really does help us. Also, there is the rumor about Peterborough being in for Armstrong True, Connor. Don't think it would be a horrible move, to be honest. That was from missed it there again. Anyway, I can't remember who it's from. Anyway, I'll put up.
I think he's just trying to make me think that he's going to Peterborough. I think he just made that up.
Yeah. Okay. This is an error on Dave's part. Why can't you spell Lansdowne correctly in your header? It says Lansdowne. Yeah, thanks for correcting that. We will correct that, but yeah.
Oh, I know it says on top of our stream, Martin, but I went onto YouTube and I fixed it.
Yeah, see, we fix things here. So yeah, thanks again for letting us know. This is over who should start in midfield. It's Keno 1606 again. Says Alan Brown on form over Malumbi. No, Malumbi has to start for me, Connor.
Mm-hmm. It's just whether he thinks that whoever's partnered with him will suit him. I don't know. I just don't know. I'm just.
I know Malumbi didn't like it, did he? When he was called like the bastard, did he? Like Heimir said, no. He didn't like that. But I just what you're going to get with Malumbi. I think again, vastly underrated for what he does. So yeah, I think he does a lot for Ireland. I think that he could probably do a lot more, but he does that discipline role. And people question his discipline for some reason, but no, I think he's absolutely brilliant. If it is that physicality you think against Usyk and stuff, it's going to be tough. And I think
Usyk doesn't play a footballer.
Usyk, did I?
You said Usyk.
Usyk, I said.
Usyk, did he? But in the comments, did he just say Alexander Usyk? We're not boxing here, mate. I know Malumbi hit someone in a box in a pre-season game before, and I know you watched that Brazilian game last night where there was 23 red cards.
Oh, geez, 23 red cards.
It's not Usyk.
I was thinking about that 23 red card thing. Someone sent me that to me today. But imagine you'd be gutted, wouldn't you, if you couldn't, if you hadn't got sent off in that game, you couldn't have gone back into the changing room, could you? Go, what were you doing? What? Oh, nothing.
Yeah, sticking up for your teammates.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't even know how it got. It's mad how it just got so bad.
It's just crazy in Brazil, isn't it? Cormac Momo says we'll both on the welcome into midfield for Stoke over the next few weeks. We are hopeful.
I just don't know. I don't know what the injury situation is. I actually looked the other day, and Chamadou, who is the right back, is back. He came on off the bench, but the boy that started right back, Chalarov, because it was Chamadou's first game back, went off injured, I believe. And Bocat, the left back, went off injured as well. I don't know what the story is with Aaron Cresswell, so hopefully Aaron Cresswell is back, so we don't have to see Boston Wood left back, right back. But I guess. Well, no, I think it'd be easier to answer that tomorrow night because I don't know whether them lads just went off with knocks or something, or a bit of cramp. We'll find out tomorrow after the Ipswich game.
Okay. I like this one as well. Just King Tidsy, am I right, Connor?
Again, right,
Avatar, fantastic.
PJ is always on. He's a regular. He was flat out.
Oh, I know, but I've just noticed now, Taylor Swift with Sean St. Ledger. Brilliant. I'd love to.
Ireland underage coach. But by the way, we never mentioned under 16s yesterday. Congratulations on defeating the Netherlands. Brilliant win, 3-2. Killian Phillips, not that Killian Phillips. Killian Phillips with a C that plays for Shelbourne, scored in his international debut, the winner. And the impressive thing is, there was a number of Ireland under 16 internationals were left out of the squad to give others kind of that opportunity to come in and show their capabilities and show what they offer. A couple of the main lads were left out, and anyone that was based outside of Ireland wasn't considered either because of it. So it was a very impressive. So it was a League of Ireland based squad. There was a lot of comments coming at like lads playing at Dublin clubs, but there's a lot of lads that are outside of Dublin that play for Dublin clubs. But yeah, fair play to them. What a win. And yeah, because it was Aidan Price was managing the team the other day, and he's obviously done a very good job, and I believe he's doing quite a good job in all aspects since in recent weeks. So he's won me over anyway so far.
Okay, Kieran Marley a little bit on that subject, but he says Malumbi, Taylor, and Azaz will be free in midfield. But he says any news on the underage coaches? Well, you just mentioned one of them there.
Oh. I reported last week that Keto Halloran is taking the under 15s anyway. No word on any other age groups yet. I don't know if Keto Halloran will be taking 15s and 16s because sometimes they do that. But yeah, I guess we just kind of have to just wait and see.
Okay. PJ again says Malumbi runs around like he's on heat, but he died for the badge now, to be fair to him. Yep, we agree with that. This is when I spoke about Heimir and saying I'm just a bit worried about the cautiousness and the poor performances, the revisionist history. Sometimes it's going to be really interesting, I think, when we hear Heimir chatting about the game in the lead up to it and his views on it. But he just his class opinion about Heimir there, Martin. Both Armenian performances were too damning to overlook. If we don't qualify, we have to move on. Euro 28 is a brilliant chance to attract a decent coach. Yep. Okay. Where are we now? C Tatsu says, after watching Celtic take a draw, sit back, win on penalties. CFM 1991 says, can you see the likes of Festi, Bene, or Moran getting a loan move into the MLS? Neither look like getting a sniff in their teams at the moment. Connor?
No.
Festi, Bene, or Moran?
Moran is obviously the least likely because of he's only just been signed. Bene, no, I don't think so either. And I don't think to see him either with Festi unless something pops up for them. But no, I don't think so.
Okay. Rory also says, I reckon we're due a red card there, lads. How many did we have against us in the groups? The football always balances itself out. Jesus, I hope I'm wrong. Yeah, this is a key thing as well. And this is where I talk about Heimer's revisionist stuff sometimes. You have to remember there was sending offs in 3 of those games, weren't there? So was it 3?
Every home game.
Yeah, every home game. So, you know, those are key factors on why we got results as well. But, you know, that sometimes gets a little bit kind of overshadowed. I think sometimes some of the views. Anyway. And Rory also says, does anyone know where I can get in contact with the manager, Halgrimson? Actually, I'd like that chat to him before the big game. Yeah, I'm sure he's available. Well, he is available.
After talking shit about him like that.
Rory, if you turn up to League of Ireland, you'll find him sooner rather than later. Yeah, he seems to be tied into Ireland at the moment. This is Celtic's view. Says, friend I know was at the Bristol match. Says Sinclair Armstrong was brutal. Plenty of running, but couldn't control the ball to save his life. Long afternoon for him by the sounds of it. We've covered that already. Steve Tatsu says, is Coleman even fit? I'd play O'Brien right side, free, Festi right wing back.
Coleman, I imagine he's back training. Yeah, Festi's is suspended, unfortunately.
Okay. And Rory also says, I'm Cork man now, so unless Hal Gribson makes the journey to West, I doubt I'll see him before match day.
Well, yeah, I've seen him. He was at Cove last year at one stage during the season, so you might see him at some stage. Right, but
yep. Okay. Sorry, just flicking through these. PJ also says the return of Callum O'Dowd, lads, but everything is going to be fine. There you go. And Alex says, I watched a bit of the Barnsley game on the weekend and I was shocked by Didsey. He was playing as an advanced player in the midfield and making 80-yard sprints at his age. He's brilliant. Bring him in. Conditionally amazing, isn't it? Like, we've seen the videos. A fantastic clip we had as well. We're going to give ourselves a bit of praise here, but do go and check that out on our Facebook page and Instagram. But yeah, he's just in cracking condition, and yeah, I would think that could anyway be that. Just flicking through these, Connor, you might have to help me out here because I'm going to proper skim down a lot of these because there seems to be conversations, and some of it's not even relevant to Irish football, to be honest. I'm going to put this one up. Jungle, evening gents. I'm late in, but looking forward to watching the start. P.S. Frick Suchek. Yeah,
facts. Frick. Yeah. But his to score that penalty tonight was acceptable. It's just in 2 weeks' time, 3 weeks' time.
PJ says, watch the AZ game myself, lads. Parrott should have scored, but some Egypt with the headband decided to shoot instead of squaring it. And yeah, Connor, you've gone through that earlier. Sure, we are free rolling, says T Tatsu. Who cares? An Ireland team will turn up. Here we go. CFM. This is a good little point, actually. Is Owen Eldon even able to play for any Irish setup this month? Connor, any news on that one?
No, but no update.
Okay. And PJ also just says, Johnny Kenny didn't score. That's me. Shocked. Not. I'm just having a quick flick through here. So Symphony asked me, am I planning Soccer Aid? No, not this year. Turned it down. Not enough money. Even though it goes to charity, they do get a few quid as well. Would you play in it if asked, Connor? Do you believe in them charity games?
As long as I don't have to represent Britain.
Okay.
Maybe you would.
Exactly.
Do you vote anyway?
Right. Rory makes a really good question here for us. Will there be a call-in show there for the international break like you do for the League of Ireland? Yeah, something that we're going to explore. I think we might do it as maybe a preview show ahead of the game to get a few of you involved.
Yeah,
And
we might
actually,
be. Yeah, I think we will be. Particularly if we qualify for the final. I can guarantee that. If we qualify for the final, there will definitely be a call-in show.
Yeah. There's going to be lots and lots of content coming your way. So make sure, of course, that you subscribe, follow the show, support us, and you'll get notified, of course, when we're doing all our things. And check us out on our socials because we also put up when we are doing live shows. So Symphony, the way Connor describes Armstrong, I'll be backing him at Cheltenham. Fast, strong, good on soft ground. Okay. Irish Mickey says, if we are picking one attacker from League One, is it Didsey, Jack Moylan, or Johnny Kenny? Didn't speak about Jack Moylan. How did he get on recently, Connor? Any good?
He got dead leg last week, midweek. But then they still put him on the bench against Cardiff at the weekend, but they didn't bring him on, so obviously he wasn't fit. But massive win for them. Top of the league now. Beat Cardiff City away from home. Brian Barry Murphy's side. They're now sitting second, and Lincoln are top. I think they're 14 points clear of Bolton, who are third. So they're in some spot to go at least finish top two anyway. But I don't think we can. I know a lot of people. It's just kind of been put out in a media narrative about Moylan as an attacker, but he's not a number 9. He's a number 10. So he's more competing for Finn Azaz, Jimmy McGrath, Sammy Smodics' role kind of as a 10 or slash left 10. So I don't think we should be comparing him to Didsey or Johnny Kenny. They're more not third striker if you call it, or a fourth one.
Okay. Clem Fandango says, haven't watched soccer for years, didn't know they'd switched it from England to Britain.
Maybe it is England. Sorry, maybe Clem. It is. I think maybe it is England. I just
said, but it's weird how they do it, isn't it?
Yeah, they're just weirdos. Like,
yeah,
they're all the same.
Although Robbie Keane loves it.
He does.
Didn't he? He played in that, didn't he? When Ireland were playing. Not
sure.
Once that did happen. Win at Shakes the Barley, says Sligo boy for whatever reason that is. Okay. C Tatsu says 2030 team. I care about this team is barely able to get us there.
Okay. He trusts us in 2030 more to get there than obviously.
Yeah. Just on that though, this is an interesting. It was really interesting. I don't know if you've seen Gareth Bale chatting. Was it on the Overlap or Stick to Football? And it was really good him chatting about like experiences with Wales of trying to bring in the better standards and improving things. Keane was really interested in chatting about that, of just seeing progress. And Gary Neville was saying like we didn't have to ask for anything with England. We got the best of everything. But it's just very, very. It's worth a listen, to be honest, because Bale. Where I really kind of liked the interview was Bale talking about how I think it was early on in his career when he was brought in really young into Wales, and how I think it was under even Gary Speed and the manager before them, I can't remember who it was, but how they brought them in and they were all like capped 30, 40 caps before they really started really competing in the qualification campaigns, and how they kind of, he said how obviously he'd gone into, how he had to play alongside lads in League Two and things like that. So it was really interesting, I think, how it really kind of focused me on the Irish kind of experience. You think of like Stephen Kenny, the job he did. Okay, we can criticize results and things, but it was very, very interesting that how he kind of compared it with Ireland in a way. That's what the way I kind of looked at it. Jason Fitzsimon says it expired. This was in regards to his Lansdowne Raw Plus support. But I was working and only got renewing it tonight. It's all right. We forgive you. I'm not tight, Connor. I brought Prendy a pint before. And he brought Dave a KFC in Armenia. Dave,
what a shock someone bought Dave something. What a shock Dave is. Dave is tight. Dave would be tight. Jesus. Dave wouldn't say no to someone offering anyway.
No, exactly. Right.
Well, do you notice something there, Martin?
Yeah.
What did he buy, Connor?
He brought nothing for you.
Scum.
Jesus. The man's just supported us. What are you on about? Right. Thank you again for the 1,000, just over 1,000 of you supporting us tonight. Obviously, you can listen back to this show as well. It will be up on our channel and out and where you can listen to all your podcasts, of course. Make sure you do give us a like on Spotify if you listen to us there. We love what we do here on Lansdowne Raw. Thank you for your support. We've got lots and lots of content going your way. We're excited, obviously, to be covering Ireland going into an amazing time. We get behind the under-21s, the women's teams, all the underage teams, of course. So make sure you are following Connor for the latest news on those of how they've got on as well. We've got some amazing talent coming through, but it's all about the March window for us. We're going to have it all covered here on Lansdowne Raw, where you're going to get the breakdown of all the squad announcements, all the interviews, of course, as well. We'll have all of that covered here, and we'll be chatting with Dave, Connor, and myself, and you, the Raw faithful, to get your views. We're the most interactive Irish football podcast out there. We love hearing from you on our live show, so thank you for your support. We've got it all covered here on Lansdowne Raw, as I said. So keep the faith. We're going to go to the World Cup, aren't we, Connor?
We are indeed.
Jesus, the enthusiasm would kill you. Look, thanks for your support. I'm off to Cheltenham, so good luck if you're having a bet at Cheltenham. And I'm hoping I might bump into a few of the Irish lads who are having a bit of R&R before the madness of the World Cup qualification. Connor's already doing his salute, but it's over and out from us on Lansdowne Raw. But thank you again for your support.